Yeah, you know what time it is. Valhalla hour, let's go! Kick back, put on your headphones tight. Rob and Matt, bringing fire every night. From the land of 10,000 lakes, we rule the scene. With a crew so fresh, keeping it raw and clean. Minnesota Vikings, kings of the north. We wear our purple heart and let the battle roar forth. Breaking down the game, dissecting the plays. With passion so fierce, we'll set the night ablaze. So give us a follow, hit that like. Share it with your crew, you know we're about to strike. Valhalla, our podcast, living life bold, where legends are made and stories are told.
This is a Huddle Sports Network broadcast. You can find us on Roku TV, Amazon Fire TV, Facebook, and of course YouTube. Get all your NFL news here first.
What's up, guys? How's it going on another rainy, hot Saturday? At least in Iowa. I don't know what it's been. It looks like it's raining everywhere.
I got the hot part, no rain.
Oh.
Yeah, it's hot still up here.
Yeah, glad to have Sarge joining us. Sarge watches the show quite a bit and everything. First time, I think, unless you've been able to hop on this, you're normally working and things.
Yep, first time.
Sarge is like most everybody else on the show, is an Army veteran and also a member of the Viking World Order fan club and huge Vikings fan. So lots and lots of stuff around surrounding training camp all week long, and none bigger than I guess we found out that Justin Jefferson had a hamstring strain. And then, according to Kevin Seifert, the beat reporter for ESPN that covers the Vikings, they were always going to hold him out of preseason anyways. So really, what difference has it made? Well, he just can't practice and stuff and get the reps in. But it sounds like he was having a hell of a chemistry with J.J. McCarthy anyways. What's you guys' take on this?
I'm not worried. I mean, we all knew he wasn't going to play in the preseason. Maybe one snap in, the first preseason game just to get some flow, or in the last preseason game just to get some flow. But we all knew the odds of him playing any significant amount in the preseason was zero. So not too concerned.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it. He's already been out with JJ. They've been building their chemistry on and off the field, so they're getting it in practice. That's what's important, and I think he'll be okay.
So what else about I'm sure you guys have watched camp highlights and everything else. What else has stood out to you so far?
For me, I just watched on YouTube Chase Daniels, the former quarterback, do a breakdown of McCarthy just in training camp the last 3 days. And the dude couldn't say enough positive things about his mechanics and his vision and, the way he was throwing the ball and the confidence. And, for a former veteran quarterback to talk that highly of a guy so young with so much inexperience was truly, truly, I don't want to say shocking, but impressive that he just couldn't say enough good things. So that I was never the biggest JJ fan. I always liked him. I just, was never, when we first drafted him, wasn't overly excited. But the excitement is building now, and I can't wait to see what he can do. So,
yeah, I think it's the team chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody showed up, and that's impressive. And the fact that we upgraded our offensive line is going to give any quarterback we throw back there a lot of help and a lot of assistance with our weapons out there. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was like, I really wanted Drake May, to be honest, in that draft and everything. But the way things are looking, and it's mainly because, and part of it is, I know you're already going to say something about being an Iowa homer, Eric. So I'll just put that out of the way. But watching Iowa versus Michigan a couple years in a row, Big Ten championship and everything. I was like, this team is strictly because they can run the ball. Nobody can stop them, and their defense is amazing. You know, I didn't quite know what to think of McCarthy either. Then, given the chance and the opportunity, I mean, he can throw with the velocity of Brett Favre. He's got the accuracy of Peyton Manning, at least in camp. And I know camp doesn't mean shit when it comes to the regular season. A lot of other QBs will look good in camp and then, you know, ended up losing their jobs and whatever. But certain things, either you got it or you don't. And in velocity, pinpoint accuracy, that kind of stuff, you know, I mean, he has those things. And I'm not sure that, you know, it looked like a lot of luck, I guess, to me when he was at Michigan with a lot of the things that they pulled off. But it looks like he's got a hell of a skill set. And, you know, Colin Cowherd wanted to go out and criticize the hell out of him. And a lot of people are barking back at Colin too, and just saying, just wait. You know, to me, everything I'm seeing, it looks like I think we've got one.
Yeah. I mean, we got a rookie quarterback taking the reins, technically a rookie, you know, the way you look at it. And they're talking about him dropping dimes all over the field at training camp. And I just saw a video this morning of Rodgers in Pittsburgh. Fucking his first pass at training camp was an interception. So,
yep.
You know, on that note, I saw a little clip from, I think it was Courtney Cronin talking about, because she covers the Bears now. Caleb Williams didn't complete a single pass in 7-on-7s. He had 2 interceptions and a drop pass. And I'm like, dude, it's 7-on-7. Like, you should be damn near perfect in 7-on-7 drills. I mean, but like, you know, 10 out of 12, 10 out of 14, you know, 15 out of 22. The 7-on-7s are made that way. And if you're not completing anything, you know, and then they said the coaches were allowing the defense to get pressure on him to see how he would react. And I'm like, you're allowing it? Like, it should be natural. You know, it's like, I don't know what's going on in Chicago, but if your quarterback is supposed to be so, you know, such a big deal and he can't even complete 7-on-7 drills, not that it means a whole lot, but it does too at the same time because it's such a simple drill. So I don't know.
Yep. Well, so far, things are looking pretty good for the most part. The only other thing that scared me is Josh Metellus tweaked his ankle a little bit Wednesday, it looked like. And, you know, as integral as he is, you know, being a multi-position player and everything, if you will, on that defense, and with the absence of Cam Bynum, I'm looking for him to have a larger role. He's also, you know, even though he's asking for more money, he's still there and participating. And that also speaks volumes, you know, for the team, I guess, the environment that they're building, the culture that they're developing there. And then, you know, the fact that the players want to be there and stuff. So, let's talk a little bit. What's some things, Tim, one of the first times you got to join us and everything, Sarge. What are you looking most forward to this year out of the additions that we've made in free agency, and then what we picked up in the draft and stuff?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing our offensive line hold up. I mean, that has been, for the last 5 years, that's something I've been complaining about. And of course, this year when I don't go to the draft, that's our first draft pick as a lineman. Figures. But yeah, it's definitely just seeing what our offense could do when you give our quarterback a few extra seconds. It's going to be a big difference. And our defense, I mean, they're talking about in training camp, iron sharpens iron. And our offense is playing against one of the best defenses in the league. And the additions to the group, they're just sharpening that edge a little bit further. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do.
What do you guys think with the surprise release of Christian Wilkins? I know that was one of the targets and everything last year that we were all looking at, and he ended up getting huge payday by the Raiders. And instead we got Van Ginkel and Grenard. which panned out to be the right call there. But now that he is being released by the Raiders are on the hook for basically $56 million of what he's getting paid. Is that worth, considering he was a Flores guy and whatever in Miami, is that worth pursuing with the fact that we have Hargraves and Allen and the rest of the guys that we've added there to beef up the center of that defensive line? Would you be interested in the Vikings trying to take a flyer and adding Christian Wilkins to the group this year?
My take is no. Partly because I just read an article that the Raiders aren't paying him his guaranteed money because he didn't complete his rehab on his injury last year. So they are claiming it's a breach of contract, and they're not on the hook for the $50-some million. Now he's filed a grievance with the Players Association. So that'll be a battle too. But if that's true and he didn't, do his rehab like he was supposed to, that's another added risk of another injured player coming in that we don't know what he's got. And I really like our depth. I like our young players. Tamani, Redmond, what's his name? Ingram Dawkins, Drake Rodriguez. So I like the young depth behind the guys we have, just to keep that momentum going and building. That's future to me. That's building for the future. So to me, I would say stay out of it. But he is a good player. So that's another option to look at.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jalen Redmond. I think he earned a spot last year, and he earned the right to get his reps and everything. So, hey, Darren's just joining us. What's up, Darren? How's everything going?
Pretty good.
What's your take on? We discussed briefly that none of us are super concerned about the Justin Jefferson being cautious with the hamstring. Should be ready for week 1. He was not going to play in any preseason games anyways. They came out and said, and then we're relatively healthy in camp, great participation. And we were just looking at with that surprise release of Wilkins by the Raiders and everything, if there was any interest that you think the Vikings should pick him up.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a need that we need, but I mean, I wouldn't mind it, but I mean, how much would it cost? I mean, I'm more of a fan of bringing in like a veteran safety than a veteran D lineman, like what Eric was saying. Like I like the depth that we got on our D line, like with the young guys that we got.
Sure. So today is actually the first day, and training camp had just started here at noon, and it's the first day the fans were allowed in and everything. So I'm busy trying to look and see what attendance is like on that. But let's see here. Oh, so Kevin Seifert from ESPN has a video out. There's a ton of people there. It looks like if we're basing what the optimism level is for a team going in with what it equates to being a rookie quarterback on the fans, they're packing the place. Everybody wants to see what happens this year. So
I know there are quite a few digs at the team on, was it Thursday? That there were nobody in the stands. Nobody wants to watch the team practice. And it was like, dude, it's friends and family day, family
right.
and employee. So they're not going to pack the stadium for a practice when it's mostly employees and family that are there every day anyway. So
true.
What? I mean, come on. I guess there was like a couple Detroit Lion and Packer websites or fan blogs or whatever that were just destroying the Vikings turnout for practice on Thursday. And I'm like, seriously? Like, buy a vowel, come on, Jesus.
Right.
I'll be there for that Monday night practice, so I'm looking forward to that.
Nice. Yeah, it looks like Ryan Kelly, our center, did a nice interview about McCarthy and everything, and he's equating him with the way he carries himself, the way he understands the playbook, the way he executes the plays. So our center is comparing him to Rivers and Luck, with years of experience of already having that kind of wherewithal right now to be able to run a team and everything. So I suppose that's good praise right there.
That's the second time, because Harrison Phillips came out and compared him mentally to Josh Allen as well. So, I don't know if it's hype for the players or if they're, being true, but that's all bodes very well for us. So, if that's the case, because that's good company for fellow teammates to be comparing you to.
It really seems like the team is rallying around him. They know he's going to be QB1, and normally you hear a lot of drama, and I don't hear any of it coming out of training camp so far. It's all been positive.
Yeah, all I've been hearing is positive things about JJ.
So with the Addison thing, there's a possibility of up to a 3-game suspension, but that's for like a full-fledged, like driving while intoxicated type of charge. He pled to lesser charge. Do you think they're going to fine him, suspend him? You think we'll lose him for any kind of stretch? If it's like a 2-game thing or whatever, do we want him to just sit out the Bears week 1 and whatever for week 2 and be ready for week 3 and then to go on the Europe trip? What are you guys thinking on that whole thing? Week 2 is at home, by the way, versus the Atlanta Falcons. So
yeah, it's the home opener.
Yep.
So, I mean, I'd love to see him at home opener, but I figured it's going to be 1 or 2, maybe, and he's probably going to get fined. It is a lack of discipline what he did, so he's going to deserve some punishment. But I don't see it being too severe, and I think we have enough depth that we're not going to have a whole lot to worry about, and he's just going to fit right back into the puzzle when he comes back.
Yep, that's a really good possibility. So.
I don't think it'll be too bad, but I think the league also will take into account his speeding ticket from taking his dog to the vet.
Yeah.
The courts can't take that into account, but I'm sure the league will. So hopefully it's 2 games and a fine. And hopefully they get on it right away and they don't drag it out. I know the league likes to do that where the whole Alvin Kamara thing took forever when he got in trouble at the Pro Bowl out in Vegas. That took almost 2 years. So, but a lot of that was waiting for a verdict in the courts too. So hopefully that the courts came down and that's all taken care of. The league acts fast. So.
Right. Yeah. If we don't have Addison or whatever else, what other wide receivers are you looking for to see something out of? Obviously, we have a pretty high draft pick and everything that everybody's wanting to see how this rookie does that we picked up, but we also acquired Rondale Moore. We got several other guys sitting there. Who are you looking at to try to win that wide receiver 3 battle for the Vikings right now?
Well, it looks like, and from what I've been seeing in the reports, is Tim Jones has been getting a lot of work with the ones.
Who has?
Tim Jones.
Okay, yeah.
I think they mainly brought him in as a special teams guy, but from it being down in Florida, I don't get to see a lot of what's going on. I don't get a lot of the local coverage, but from what I can follow, he seems to be getting a lot of runs. So it should be interesting. I really thought Moore would step up and get more. I thought probably Felton, Naylor would get a lot more. what's his name? Jayshon Jones seems to be getting a lot of work. So I like our depth at wide receiver. It's going to be a really hard final cut when it comes to that room because there is a lot of talent.
Yeah, so obviously, I think the future is that you have some combination of you have Ty Felton and you've got Jalen Naylor that are battling for it because those are two homegrown guys. But you do also have speedster Rondale Moore in the mix. You still have Lucky Jackson, and then the guys that you mentioned too, and everything. At the end of the day, I think there's going to be some guys, some good players that are going to end up getting cut. I mean, I hope Tim Jones that we can keep him too. There's an awful lot of good players on this team, and there's not enough roster spots for all of them. What do you let's get some other opinions. I'm I guess rooting for Felton just because he's a rookie. He's got the size and the speed and everything, but I've got nothing against Naylor. I've got nothing against Tim Jones. I've got nothing against Rondale Moore. And I hope that we can work a way to keep or retain most of these guys through special teams or being able to retain them on the practice squad too. But of the people that are not the top two, who are you looking most forward to actually seeing succeed? Do you want to see Rondale Moore get regular reps, or do you think he'd be better off as a kick return, punt return specialist?
I'm looking forward to Felton. I want to see what that rookie can do. I saw some of his highlights after the draft, and I was in awe. He's just an amazing athlete, so be nice to see that.
Yeah, Brent, it was some type of reckless I think it was some type of reduced reckless driving or something like that. I don't remember what they call it.
Wet reckless.
Wet reckless.
A wet reckless? Okay. Something like that.
Yeah.
So, Darren, what's your take on wide receiver if in camp we're not going to see much of Justin Jefferson, and if we're going to miss a game or two with Addison at the beginning of the season, who are the guys you think need to step up in that wide receiver room? And it's quite a crowded room, but who are you thinking?
So I think the guys that are going to need to be stepping up, because obviously Naylor did last year, so I look forward to him making a step up. I think the guys that we're going to need to step up is obviously the rookie that we drafted, Felton. Another guy is the guy we brought in, Rondale Moore, and he's battling for position on his team. Obviously, you got guys like Lucky Jackson and Jones. So I think if he can step up and he can really shows like what he's got, and obviously he's had health issues in his past. If he can stay healthy and he can step up, I think Rondale Moore can be a big utilage in the room.
Right on. So of our, I still think we're in a pretty good situation. If you go around our division and everything, there are some teams that are having some legitimate struggles. We're talking about, it's easy to point at the Bears because they've kind of been in the basement here lately and whatever. But it looks like Caleb Williams is having some struggles getting adjusted to Ben Johnson's offense, so on and so forth. They have added a lot of talent, but talent isn't the end all be all. You got to be able to put it together and you got to be able to execute and get everybody in the same sheet of music. What do you guys think in terms of the Chicago Bears outlook of what they're trying to do if we just bounce around our division quick? Don't all speak at once.
I think that they finally made the right decision on a coach. Ben Johnson definitely seems to be one of the brightest offensive coaches in the league right now. Their defense has always been good to above average to good. It's a matter of that chemistry. I think, comparing, like, I hate to compare to us, but O'Connell built such and Kwesi built such chemistry and figured out how to get the players to want to be there and want to be friends and want to hang out outside of football. That's almost as big as training camp right now. So I think until the Bears can get that down, and I don't hear a lot from the Bears other than what I can see scrolling the internet, but it doesn't look good so far.
Yep. Yeah. It's he's throwing interceptions right and left. The other day, I guess he completed almost every pass he completed was to the defense. So that either means that Chicago is brewing up one hell of a defense, or they've got some issues there. But
One or the other.
yeah, I'm just looking on see if I can see anything else going on. Yeah, it's been a rather off week. I mean, there's not a lot of NFL news going. People have been conducting the private things during camp and so on and so forth, whatnot. So, I was just looking up some Lion stuff too. I didn't see it.
One of their D linemen is going to miss the entire season. Not Ricky. One of their defensive linemen is going to end up missing the whole year with an injury already. So that's huge. Between that and the retirement of Ragnow, the Lions seem to be a little bit of jeopardy. I don't know their depth at D tackle very well, but so that's something to keep an eye on, I guess.
Brent says Levi is out. Okay.
No, okay, it is Levi. Okay.
Yeah, that's probably going to hurt a bit.
And then I caught a headline the other day, something about the Vikings will find Packers camp comical or something like that. I didn't get a chance to read the article, but interesting to see what that would be about.
Well, and my best guess, but I'm pretty sure Darren is 100% agreement with this, is once again, the Packers have like 18 number 2 and number 3 wide receivers and still don't have a number 1. And then you've got Jordan Love for a quarterback. I mean, I still think they're like an 8-9 win, maybe a 10-win team. I don't know. I mean, what do you think about that whole business in Green Bay, Darren?
It's quite interesting. I'm seeing a lot of hype about Matthew Golden. So I think he could be like a clear shot, and they can finally get their number 1 if he can, continue to live up the, first round hype of being picked in the first round. But I mean, they just that group just needs to stay healthy, and they also need to work on catching the ball, because I know they had a lot of drops last year. So I think if they do well, they could have 11 wins, but I see like a 9-10 win team.
Right.
All right. So what I saw was Bo Milton, one of the wide receivers for the Packers, has been taking snaps, all his snaps at corner. So they
that was
Yep.
I did see that too. And you know what? It wouldn't be the first time that a team has had a wideout convert to play defensive back. You know, if they think the field is just too muddled, there's nobody clearly standing out, they have a need at corner. It's actually kind of an intelligent move on the Packers' part. I mean, I'm not going to talk shit on that. And if it works out for them, they're going to look fucking genius, you know. Hey, Matthew, how was the fishing trip?
It was actually really successful. The kid got a brand new pole by some random guy on a nice boat, and we each caught two.
Nice.
Nice.
It was, a good day.
That's awesome. Yeah, I would love to go outside and do something, but it won't stop raining down here. So,
Well, it's about 95 and 1,000% humidity here, so.
yep, that's about the same way it is here right now. So,
Yep. Same here.
yeah. So,
Are you guys talking about the Packers offense with Matthew Golden and leading the league in drops? And I just kind of wanted to touch on that real quick, and this might piss off some of our Packer viewers, but I mean, I think we all watch the televised Packers games because it's just fun to watch division rivals when they're nationally televised. And a lot of those drops can be attributed to Jordan Love just having pretty poor ball placement. If you look at his advanced stats, his catchable throw, pass rate is pretty low. He always tries to be just a little too fancy with it. And obviously there are some drops that do just bounce off their hands, but you also shouldn't make him stretch out like Superman every other pass as well, because that's not really helping anything.
well, and that was what my argument against Case Keenum always was. I mean, how many years in a row? 4, 5 years in a row did we hear the Vikings should have kept Case Keenum? Dude, the only reason why Case Keenum had the year that he had is because Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs bailed his ass out. If you go back and you really, really watch those games, and I was at some of them in person, I watched the rest of them on TV. I've rewatched several of them. They are just extending out to make some of that stuff is straight up uncatchable, and Diggs and Thielen would find a way to do it anyways.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a magical season. I really wish we could have done something in Philly instead of getting our ass kicked in the NFC Championship. But, you know, there's also a reason why Case Keenum hasn't done jack shit since then. You know?
Well, everyone points to the game against the Saints. Well, look what we did. We won. I said, well, yeah, but he threw the pick that even made it close to begin with. And then it took what we literally call a miracle to win. It's called the Minneapolis Miracle. It's not he was this clutch. That was 100% on Stephon Diggs to make that play.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it makes absolute sense of what you're saying with Love's accuracy and stuff like that. I question his pocket presence and his ability to go beyond his second read, too. I don't know what you guys think on that. But
Yeah, he definitely needs to improve that going into year 3. And I remember after his rookie season was done, I can't remember the guy's name. He's a YouTuber, and he does these quarterback breakdowns. And it was about a 15-minute long video. That was one of his main knocks, was he's just got happy feet. He dances when he doesn't have to. He's got a good enough O-line where he can just stand there and at least 1, 2, 3, maybe not all 5 options on the field, but at least get through 3 reads. But he just tiptoes around and gets happy feet, does his 5-6 yard dropbacks for no reason. So he definitely has some things that he needs to clean up, considering he's going into year 3, starting year 7 in the league.
Yeah.
Or year 6.
You know, I mean, it's, you know, and then we talked about the Bears a little bit earlier and everything. And then Caleb Williams is having just a disastrous camp. I mean, I really doubt his ability to go past his first read at this point with what he's been doing. And I know that he'll play better in the regular season. They always do. Camp doesn't mean shit. But with the fact that they've got Dan Johnson in there, new coordinator, new head coach, all new staff just about, and they're putting the talent around it. That really puts that kid in the hot seat, you know, They're like, because they're going to have the perspective, and Brent or any Bears fan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Bears as an organization feel like they put talent and did everything in their power through free agency and the draft to put talent around him this year to help him succeed. They were also fixed their offensive line to the best of their ability. They got him some weapons and everything else. And then for him to come out and quantifiably look worse than he did at this point last year in camp is probably pretty alarming for some people in that organization. That's my take. I mean, there's probably other takes on it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean that's kind of a big issue when you can't get your offense set on 7-on-7, and your coach Ben Johnson, who rightfully so has to tell you to get the fuck out the field. So the second team comes in. The second team, I mean, they don't even miss a beat. They line up. So
that's the kicker about it right there. Is it?
It is.
Oh, sorry.
It is alarming. It is alarming.
Well, yeah. I mean, if the second team's coming in there and getting it and clicking, you can't say, well, I mean, it's Ben Johnson. It's a new system. It's going to take him a minute. It's like, well, the backup shouldn't fucking have it if the starters don't. So, but at the same time, it is an entirely new system. It is an entirely new coaching staff. It is going to take time to gel. So I'm not going to say like, haha, but I'm not a believer in Caleb Williams. I've said multiple times on this podcast that I don't think he's got the intelligence to handle a Ben Johnson offense. But now for this, at least this season, it's going to be Schrodinger's offense. And is it going to struggle because Ben Johnson, and he was really just a tool of Dan Campbell, and he's not a good offensive mind? Or is Ben Johnson hamstrung by a quarterback that should have been taken number 1 overall? And now we see the reports that Chicago is actually really close to taking J.J. McCarthy number 1 overall. So it's not like Caleb Williams was like their guy dead set the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that article about Ryan Poles saying they had debated taking J.J. McCarthy number 1 overall, but they were too afraid of the backlash they would get from not taking the quarterback who was perceived to be the number 1 draft pick.
Right.
Like,
which is crazy that it.
Like, go with your gut. That's why you're an NFL GM. Go with your gut. if you like is better, then take him. Don't go with what the national media and college scouts and everybody's trying to tell you. Do what you want to do.
Right.
It just seems like, why not just stand your ground and take your pick? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I personally wouldn't have gone McCarthy number 1 overall. I would have. Jaden Daniels was my guy the entire time. He should have been the number 1 overall pick. But either way, like, if you're wishy-washy, like you said, go with your gut, man. Like, we haven't seen McCarthy. Maybe he'll be better than Jaden Daniels. I think we'd all love to see that. But it's just not a good look that if he's struggling in year 2 and you weren't super dead set and he did have kind of mediocre stats against top defenses in college, they might be on quarterback number 4 in the span of 6 or 7 years. That's never a good look.
No, it's not. Hey, I got to jump out and make a call quick, but keep going. Talk about the Lions too, and I'll be back here in like a minute.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Brent. Oh,
hey, Rob.
Wrong way.
Taking over.
All right, I'm trying to turn my camera off, not make myself the center of attention. Damn it.
Sure, right. I believe it.
Which one?
I don't know if we showed this one.
I don't know what I haven't heard a lot else going on with the league other than, like I said, the Lions lost a D tackle.
Yeah.
And to go back to what we were just talking about with Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, and if I hope he does better, but if McCarthy has a Daniels, Bo Nix type of season, we're going to do just fine. I mean, 35 to 3,800 yards, 25 to 30 touchdowns, and 9 to 15 picks. We'll be just fine, and 4 to 6 rushing touchdowns. We'll be just fine.
See,
we'll just fine.
That's the kicker. Is everyone's like, well, Darnold had 35 touchdowns last year. If McCarthy only has 25 to 28, like that's damn near double-digit touchdowns you're going to be missing out on. You're not going to win as many games. We also had shit for rushing touchdowns. What do we have?
Yeah.
6 all season?
Yeah.
Maybe. So yeah, between Mason and building up our O line, and hopefully Jones can stay healthy. There's no reason why combined we shouldn't have double-digit rushing touchdowns this season.
Yeah, I mean, you take 6 away from what Donald threw. You give 2 of those or 3 of those to Mason, 2 or 3 of those to McCarthy, and you've already made up what the throwing difference. So
right.
I mean, and I really honestly, with the way our defense looks, add another couple touchdowns for them over the season. Well,
right.
I
Which
mean,
that's been nice. Sorry.
No, go ahead, Matthew.
Oh, I was going to say, speaking of that, like apparently Van Ginkel's just been damn near a pick 6 machine through camp so far, and he's just picking right up where he left off last year. So,
and let's not forget, we have an upgraded offensive line, which would lead everyone to believe that the rushing touchdowns should go up, and some bigger plays, more than 20-yard pass plays, might even go in for a few extra touchdowns. So,
right.
And there's moving on to Lions stuff, but I was just looking. They can't even get through a whole practice without fighting.
Really?
Yeah, they shut down 2 straight practices because they were tackling it without pads.
Yeah, I heard him throw a guy out because he was too aggressive, and I never thought I would hear that. That Dan Campbell threw a guy out of practice because he was too aggressive.
The quote on this page is, this is Pro Football Talk, is excessive on-field exuberance.
So am I tripping, or didn't they get dinged last year for having some like illegal type practices, and Dan Campbell basically said, whatever, we're badasses, that's just what we do? Or am I completely making that up? I feel like I remember hearing that.
I don't remember.
Yes, it does.
It does. It does sound familiar, Matt.
But I saw that they've been looking crisp in practice. I haven't seen anything about them fighting, but that's funny to hear that they're getting after it like that. I also wonder if
the day before yesterday.
I also wonder if they're going to try to go after Christian Wilkins and just say, fuck it, we'll deal with his injury, whatever it may be, because they could probably get him for dirt cheap since he's already getting a bunch of guaranteed money. And that off the field news, those are all AI generated fake news articles. I don't believe that for a second. I see that about damn near every player in the league now. Jordan Love donates $12 million to Christian Toy Center. Like, yeah, it's not happening.
Yeah,
I know some of the
organizations generated shit.
I know some of the organizations did donate to the flooding that happened in Texas.
Right.
Yeah, but even that was like $500K per organization, not $18 million.
Yeah.
Like, we'd all love to see it if it happened, but yeah, I don't. All these reports and articles coming about all these players giving up tens of millions of dollars, I don't buy any of it for a second. Because if you Google it, the only thing pops up is that damn Facebook page that is coming off on.
Right.
Yeah. Everything I'm seeing is Facebook, Instagram.
Right.
None of it looks official.
JJ, what player I believe that about?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, since we're on the discussion about the Lions, I mean, with the injury that Levi sustained, that they could pretty much be in the same boat and trying to get Wilkins.
Yeah. Yeah, wouldn't hurt.
That's something else I was thinking too, is that's a possibility. So the $1 million question, as a Vikings fan or anybody that pays attention to the NFC North, my personal feeling is the Vikings have improved or held pat at every position on the team, and the most glaring weaknesses, which was the offensive line, greatly improved. Have we improved enough, and have the Detroit Lions fallen back enough with a couple key injuries to defensive players, Frank Ragnow retiring, losing Ben Johnson and everything. Has there been enough of a step back from Detroit and enough of a step forward for us to be able to overtake them and win the North this year? That's the $1 million question.
I'd be willing to bet money on it.
I mean, if you look strictly like at the numbers and just look at the rosters and coaching staff on paper, I say there's absolutely no reason to say there's not an argument that we couldn't overtake Detroit. I mean, obviously, yeah, we're a 14-win team last year. They were a 15-win team. Neither one of us won a playoff game. We improved on the trenches. They've declined on the trenches. Our coaching staff is intact. Their coaching staff is demolished outside of Dan Campbell. So, like, all the pieces are there. I don't see why not. It really, yeah, unless, again, McCarthy just ends up being an absolute bum, which I just don't see happening.
Yeah.
My biggest concern.
Go ahead.
I'll say my biggest concern that I've been vocal about was the corners. But, I mean, I know it's only been 3 days of practice or 2 days of practice, but seeing beat writers say, like, hey, Okoto looks kind of good right now, has me so, like, I was optimistic before, but now I'm, like, ridiculously homer optimistic that our corners are going to be studs this year because we got a couple over 6 feet. They're looking good. Brian Flores just has another year to develop his system. So,
yeah, I've heard Okuda's been doing really well and taking a lot of first-team reps. So, and even Jefferson came out and said he's been a pain in his ass. So, and that was in camp and stuff. But still, that's, you know, if Jefferson comes out and says you're being a pain in my ass, that means something's going on. So,
right.
You know, I going into this, even after the draft and minicamp, secondary was still one of my biggest concerns. Although I like, you know, our young depth with Nudie and the undrafted free agent Vaughn. And then bringing in Rodgers, who I hopefully can continue what he was doing when with the Eagles last year. So I like what we have. I'm just really worried about depth. So
yeah.
Is anybody overly concerned that we have not heard much about Mekhi Blackman and he's not working with the ones right now?
Yeah,
have you seen his legs?
No.
His damaged leg is legitimately about half the size of his good leg. I don't know if it was a bad camera angle, but he looks like he needs about another year of healthy practice to get that weight back on his other leg. It looks like a chicken leg compared to his other leg.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good. That's not good.
Nope, it's not good.
Again, it could have just been a weird camera angle. I don't know, but I saw the picture of him at practice when they announced that he was running with the twos, and everyone was just kind of commenting about how much bigger one leg was than the other.
Well, it's crazy because in 2011, when I tore my ACL, I was still at that age where I was still, working out, lifting, all that other stuff. You legitimately do. And like mine was an ACL, MCL, and meniscus tear, right? And it's a full year of rehab on something like that, for somebody that's not a superstar athlete, and I definitely wasn't, but yeah. You can look at pictures and everything, your leg that just sits there that you can't do anything with for months on end until you start hitting certain, pain points in your rehab and your recovery program and everything. It is. I mean, you lose your muscle mass. I'm not going to say your muscle's going to atrophy because even one weekend, got to start working on getting your range of motion back, all this other shit and everything. But the timeline for what you can do in terms of exercising to actually start putting weight on and how much weight you can put on it until you're back to being cleared to you should be good to go, just like before your injury and everything. It's a long timeline, so that doesn't surprise me. And I mean, you can look at just anybody that has like a knee surgery or whatever, they're going to have. I mean, one leg's going to be smaller than the other until they can get back up to speed. So
right.
In hindsight or devil's advocate on that, you look at Darisaw or Moore, even Fries, who all had leg injuries later in the year, or Moore's was in preseason or before the season started too. But theirs were much later into the season, and they're coming out stronger and healthier. So Was it lack of rehab? Did his body just not respond to the rehab? What's going on that he didn't recover as well as some of the other guys? That's maybe a question to consider too.
Right.
So
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I have one unfair question to ask of everybody this week yet. And we've talked about this before, but we've been pretty standoffish about it because of the fact that it is an unfair question. It's unfair because we have not seen a real sample size of JJ McCarthy in any meaningful game. But for all the fans of the other teams that want to come out and say the reason why the Vikings should not be taken seriously, or the reason why you're projected to be like an 8-win team by experts or Vegas, whatever it is. And I haven't even checked the latest Vegas odds in over a month. I don't know what they're saying we're supposed to be at. But do you guys feel that right now JJ McCarthy is as good or better of a quarterback than Sam Darnold was last year? Because if the answer is yes, this team is a double-digit win team, and we're going to do some damage.
I'd say yes. And when you were off, we kind of talked about it a little bit too, that if he has relatively close numbers to Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix from last year, we should be in that double-digit conversation. He doesn't have to be spectacular. He doesn't have to throw for 35 to 40 touchdowns. 25 to 30 touchdowns in the air, 4 to 6 on the ground, less than 15 picks. We'll be just fine, and we'll be in that mix. We'll be in that hunt. So, that's my take.
It's like I was saying, it's all about that offensive line upgrade, giving us time. And with JJ back there, if he doesn't get hit and stays clean, he's got the target, he's got the arm, he's got the aim. I'd say he's gonna surpass a lot of people's expectations.
Yeah, if the question is he going to have better stats or just be a better quarterback? I don't think he'll top the stats, but I think there's things that he's going to have, like Eric was saying, he's going to have mobility that Sam Darnold didn't have. Not that Darnold was like Kirk Cousins, but McCarthy shows that he can clearly escape a pocket. I think he's the more cerebral quarterback than Sam Darnold is. And a lot of us are Army. We know when you go to basic training, they'd rather have someone that's never shot a gun than someone that's shot their whole life with bad habits, because it's easier to build somebody up than it is to break their bad habits and rebuild them. Sam Darnold had a lot of bad habits to break that we just happened to avoid until the playoffs. McCarthy is starting from scratch. He doesn't have a history of seeing ghosts to get in his head. He's going to come out excited, ready to prove doubters wrong. And I think that's going to help him as well.
Yeah. Like I said, we need to see some actual games, some meaningful games out of him. But exactly what you said, his pocket presence, his escapability when pressure comes. And the Vikings did everything in their power this year to ensure they're setting him up for success. They did not stick him behind that dismal offensive line that they have stuck, ever since the 09 season that we've asked, the 17 season. Ever since we put Kirk Cousins behind that line, and ever since we put every other quarterback that we've had to work with behind that line and everything, they actually fixed it this year.
Right.
And they got him all the weapons that they can possibly get. In fact, we're probably going to, like I said earlier in our show, we're probably going to have to let some of them go because there's not enough roster spots for all of them. I'm very optimistic. We've got about 5 minutes left. The one other topic that I had was I did see one noteworthy bit of chatter and everything from the Around the League heads talking, and I believe it was on the Pat McAfee show where they were doing a segment on the Vikings. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Cow Jerky. It involves Jordan Mason. And as good of a running back as he is, I guess everybody was knocking his ability to catch passes out of the backfield in the style like what Aaron Jones does for us and everything. And saying that that was going to be a contributing factor because the Vikings do swing a lot of passes toward the running back, at least over the past year, and presumably continuing on and everything, considering we do have Aaron Jones, who's equally good at catching the ball and running as he is, taking a handoff and running. Then I just seen it was Kevin Seifert or is Tom Pelissero who just said that Jordan Mason has actually been catching quite a few passes from J.J. McCarthy and executing quite well on it. Whereas in the past, the numbers are just not there for Jordan Mason being a receiving running back. So I went and looked that up. Yeah, that's true too. But is it the system he come from San Francisco and what they do and the fact that they go all this other stuff, or is it he just wasn't having that kind of connection on that team? They didn't design it that way, or is it just that he's now getting an opportunity to do this and do it on a regular basis, and lo and behold, he ends up being halfway proficient at it? Have you guys noticed anything about that?
Well, go ahead.
So I saw the same thing you did. I saw the report that Mason couldn't catch, and I immediately saw the footage of him catching J.J. McCarthy passes. So it's like, which is it? It's AI.
Well, there we go.
Well, I just kind of pulled up the stats. He's had 18 targets in 3 years. So, did the Niners really give him an opportunity to shine? And in that same breath, I saw a prediction, shocking results from training camp that Mason could pass Jones as RB1. So, people are seeing different things, and we talked about it last week and the week before that this is a time of year that a lot of rumors fly about speculation, and people just don't have the information because you're looking at training camps not being open to media all the time. They're getting, secondhand knowledge. So I think he's going to do just fine. I think we have a great 1-2 punch, and I think what we worry about is the battle for 3 with Trey Stewart and Ty Chandler, because Trey Stewart can catch the ball. So, his ability to pass block is what I question, but, there we go.
Yeah, that's valid.
Yeah, I mean, we could just do what Detroit does, and I'm not going to copy their names, but Sonic and Knuckles. I don't give a shit if Jordan Mason can catch the ball because that's what we have Jones for. So why not use Jordan Mason to be our bruiser back and actually get 15, 20-yard chunks of breakaway, a 30, 40-yard touchdown, and then just have Aaron Jones come in at 30 years old, not have him handle 80% of snaps, and just use him for the end arounds, the screen plays, the quick out passes, whatever, and just use him as the more gadget guy. We don't need both of them to catch. I wouldn't mind having just a bruiser.
Yeah. So we got 2 minutes left. Final thoughts, everybody. We'll start with Darren.
I'm just getting sick of hearing about Justin Jefferson, people making a big deal about it. Guys, it's real early. All they need to do is sit him out for a few practices. He'll be fine. My final thoughts.
Yep. Sarge.
Hey, for me, it's all about flow in the defense. He had another year to build. He added some key points. And let's not forget that every year since we've had KOC as head coach, our quarterbacks have been out flipping standing. He is the quarterback whisperer. So I think JJ is going to have an outstanding rookie year.
Eric?
First thing, Sarge, I can tell you're military because you said out flipping standing. So,
yep.
Flipping standing, that's definitely a military term. But my thoughts are depth. I know Sarge talked a lot about the O-line, but our depth there. I'm liking Logan Brown to make this team, so that's one thought. And, I'd really like to know where Roush sits, Walter Roush is at, and what's going on with him, where he's playing. So, me as the O-line, trying to keep an eye on that.
Yep. Take us home, Matthew. You got about 30 seconds.
Hawkinson, career season incoming, 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. Skull.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us. This is Valhalla Hour. We'll be back on noon again with some actual training camp stuff we can talk about. You guys have a great week. Skull.
Skull.